We are a peaceful people. Struggle is we struggle, and we don't look for trouble. Just ask around. But when outside faces from foreign places talk about taking over, we ain't backing down. We ain't giving up no mountains, we ain't giving up no tree, we ain't giving up no river that belongs to we. Not one blue sake, not one rice grain, not one karage, not a blade of grass. This land is all I know. We gonna make it somehow. We will bend like a bow and never break. Oh.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to today's first installment of Budget in Focus. We're discussing Budget 2025, the People's Progressive Party's farewell budget. I'm joined today by my brother, my friend, who speaks for and represents the interests of the people of Region 6, and he serves also as Shadow Minister of Labour, Pandit Dineshwar Jaiprashad. Ram Panditji, and welcome to Budget in Focus.
Thank you, Sitaram, and I'm happy to be here. Thank you.
You presented last evening and made some interesting observations with respect to what's happening in terms of the labor market in Guyana. I recall some time ago when Gaisuco was in better shape, for example, their labor turnout was somewhere in the region of 50 to 51%.
Correct.
And that was a problem. And then came the focus on public infrastructure projects. And then came a focus on mining, which started a competition for labor. And you've made some observations with respect to labor shortage. Talk to us a little bit more, Pandit, about what's happening in that area of labor, the shortage, and how it's impacting our country's economy.
Thank you very much, and I am happy to be part of this program. Firstly, I want to say that the budget being presented by Minister of Finance Ashley Singh is not for the people of Guyana. It's a one-sided budget, and it focuses on continuation of what they have been doing for 2024, which is not sending service and resources to the common man. Before I get to the labor aspect, I want to say that there was no consultation with us as opposition members as it relates to our input. The PPP must take into consideration and understand that we represent half of this population. And to debar us from sharing our ideas as to what will be the benefits for our people is the bad way to start off. So when we have a budget consultation and you invite all members, all stakeholders, political, socio-economic, religious, and they have their input, then you can be able to have a budget that will satisfy the needs of our population. What we are seeing here is they did some fluff and he arrived with some figures to show the population that, okay, this is the largest budget ever. But when we critique it and when we look what is happening, it is not sending money into the hands of the poor people. That is basically what Budget 2025 is all about. We see that a few of their friends and favorites and colleagues will be enriching themselves. And when we look at the areas that the funds are being allocated to, it will make the rich richer at the expense of the poor. As it relates to labor, we have had a cry from 2020 to now in terms of the PPP mantra as shortage of workers. We have seen attempts made to bring workers from India, Bangladesh, and other areas.
But interestingly, not from Haiti,
Not from Haiti.
where there's a
Well,
surplus of labor.
we had a situation whereby we had some Haitians here who were sent back to Haiti, and we see the disparities there. So we are in a country whereby we observe that we are having problems with labor. You have been there in office. This is the fifth budget, and you are not putting systems in place to help to remedy what is happening. As a opposition member, I have been exposed to the trend as to what is happening in the country as it relates to children dropping out of school. And I want to say that the PPP has not taken into consideration programs and systems to put in place so that we can retain our children in school. Number one is the revision of the Education Act. As of now, the education policy, the Education Act 3901 states that any child at age 14 years, 9 months can opt to be out of school.
Yeah, that's the compulsory age for remaining in school.
Yes.
Yeah.
So we have a fastest growing nation, and we still operate on an act that is 1940. It means that we have to come to par as to what really is happening with governance in this country. If we can't amend our policy to ensure that our young people stay a year plus more in school, if they stay in school, we will have better attendance, we will have better output, we will have better matriculation, we will have children securing subjects that will make them move forward into nursing, police, GDF, general public servants, and all areas of work. But the PPP is failing to take that into consideration and want to put money into the hands of foreigners who will be paid more than our workers, who will have more benefits, and at the end of the day, they will not use their money in this country but send it back to the country that where they come from.
And they're likely to also participate in the election process.
Well, that is the main objective.
That is the
basically.
objective of bringing people from particular places in the world and from Commonwealth countries to it. So we understand that. There is the Minister of Home Affairs who declared publicly that he has issued in excess of 31,000 work permits to foreign nationals. How is that impacting our workforce? Look, the PPP is defending, I think it was Rodriguez who defended this whole business of menial work for Guyanese citizens in the face of executive appointments for expatriates coming to Guyana and so on. So these 31,000 obviously are not here to make beds and mop floors.
Correct.
But those appear to be the best that the PPP has to offer for our people, in addition to picking litter off the streets for 10 days per month. What is likely to happen to the morale of the Guyanese workforce in the face of these policies, so to speak, of the People's Progressive Party?
That is a very important observation, and we need to take it seriously, because 31,000 plus foreigners coming into this country, the condition of work, their time, salary range, and other benefits are better than Guyanese workers. You put Guyanese now at a step backward in terms of allocation of resources. These are persons who, I will not say doesn't belong here, but are not our citizens. They are coming here because of so many reasons, and you're giving them preference over our Guyanese. I don't have anything against foreigner coming in, but we must put our citizens first. Ensure that we train them and we pay them so that they will be able to look forward and have a good living. These foreigners coming in are having a better package than the pathway workers. The pathway workers, you keep them at bay and allow them to do all these kinds of work for you, pay them a stipend of $40,000, and you have someone coming into your country, full-time employment and more benefits. This is affecting our social fabric as a nation. Culturally, we are having infiltration into all communities, and this is changing the dynamics as to how we operate. So proper consideration needs to be taken first before we push people into communities that we have and cause conflict. Because what we observe, if you have noticed, in the same Ministry of Home Affairs, we have had so many charges with foreigners committing murder, theft, and all forms of crime in Guyana, and we never had this 2015 to 2020 in this capacity. So I'm saying that something needs to be done as soon as possible before it blow out of proportion and cause more harm to the Guyanese population.
There is a continuous surge in the high cost of living. Continuously prices go up. Many believe that it is the level of salaries and wages paid to foreigners and the expectation of those who operate businesses locally that more money is being earned by this particular group, and therefore their target in terms of quality of goods, their target in terms of price levels for supplies is being focused in to that particular sector of the population, while the working poor in Guyana has to endure an existence paying those same higher prices at their paltry wages. What measures do you see, if any, in this budget to bridge that gap, to bring some level of equity for the Guyanese working poor?
Just 8%. So the government is proposing an 8% for 2025, which is not enough. A nurse coming from another country receive a better salary than our nurses. The leave passage is far more than what our nurses receive. There is proper accommodation. Also, traveling for family.
Paid accommodation.
Paid accommodation. Yeah. So when these foreigners with our resources, they go to the supermarket, they have better spending power than our local workers. And this is being observed in all areas of this country. They have a better spending power because they earn more than what our nurses are earning in Guyana. That brings, in terms of bargaining, as it relates to what is happening in the country, we have not had a proper bargaining between unions and the government from 2020 to now, but we have had an imposition of what they feel might be the best thing. In looking at the Grange-led administration from 2015 to 2020, public servants were taken care of better than what we are having now. 70+% in 5 years, compared to what we are having here now in 5 budgets. So there's a difference that is visible, and what we need to do is to ensure that the workers, the public servants, even the private sector, take note of what is happening, and the inability of the government to put more into their pockets and bear up the strain, so that come election time they will be able to make the right decision.
Talk to us a little bit, Dinesh, about what's happening in the various sectors in your region: health services, education, agriculture, for example. Those are the top areas. Just briefly tell us what's happening.
So as it relates to agriculture, we know that it is a failed initiative by the PPP administration. Their manifesto campaign mantra was basically, we'll reopen Skellen and Rosal. To date, that is yet to be seen. Gaisuku contracting a private entity to employ workers, and this private entity at Rosal Estate paying workers more than what Gaisuku paying. So they have enough money to pay this agency, this contractor, to contract workers at a higher cost, a higher pay than what Gaisuku paying. Obviously, the man will have more employees than what Gaisuku is supposed to have. If you have had put a system in place to use that same contracted money to go to the workers,
The workers will earn more
workers will
than
earn
even
more.
now.
That's it.
Yeah.
That is one. Two, as it relates to grinding at Rosal Estate, the Minister of Agriculture indicated that we have had about 9 months of El Nino.
Mhm.
On the other hand, Minister of Sports indicated that the grounds were not so
Because of
fixed
rain.
because of rain.
Mhm.
Grass and cane require rain and sunlight. We have had both in 2024. Why is it that the sugar production declined? The Honorable Minister came and said that the quality of the cane, sucrose content, no rain, and so many things.
But if you cut the cane before they mature and put them into one year's production when they're due for the next year's crop,
Correct.
I mean,
that is
you
what
obviously
happened.
will get that.
So he made all these excuses without saying that we have failed the sugar industry. We are waiting, the people of Berbice are waiting to see when Skellen will be back in operation. We know that Skellen utilized a large portion from the Guyanese economy to fool the people to say that, okay, we will bring GPL, we will provide electricity at a cheaper cost. To date, we are paying more. Skellen is a failed project. The people in the country will say there is a white elephant. Cannot generate anything for the people of Berbice. And the Honorable Minister would come and say flowery language about the brackish water, shrimp, the black belly sheep, black giants, and all these things. We are yet to see how many farmers are benefiting from this in Region 6. What happens is that there are a few friends who are in large-scale farming. Businessmen who have thousands of avenues to earn are giving the ducklings, are giving the
Baby chicks.
Are giving the black belly sheep, and are giving lands to do for the farming and so. So at the right time, all this information will come out to the public so that the public will be able to understand that indeed it's a friend, family, and favorites. That is what the PPP is doing at the moment.
So what we have is a situation where the monies are channeled upwards and not to the ordinary people of the country, not hitting the table of the working class population. And we clearly are hearing from Pandit Dinesh Jaiprashad that you cannot measure the output from the dollars spent, the billions being spent in the area of labor and in the geographic constituency of Region 6. You cannot get a sense of value for money. Pandit, thank you very much for joining me on Budget in Focus. It's been a pleasure to have you here, and I know we'll have more such conversations with you as time goes by. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you for joining and staying with us through this installment of Budget in Focus. We'll be back with more from the presenters of this morning.